Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Swain County High School as our Maroon Devils are talking football with head coach Sherman Holt here on the Maroon Devils Network. Coach, great win last week. We opened up conference play with the Andrews Wildcats and some old friends over there with Coach James Phillips and Matthew Manley. And they're a good football team. They're a solid football team, as always, with those guys. And they have some good players. But our Maroon Devils just really stepped up and got the job done to open up conference play with that win.
Yeah, our kids played hard. Defensively, we probably played the best game we've played all year. As far if you look at the stat lines and what we were able to take away that Andrews had success on in the first 4 or 5 ball games, and so defensively we like what we saw. Kids flying around. And when you don't give up 100 yards of offense, that's always a good night. And they were just real stingy. And so, hats off to them. Hats off to our defensive staff with their game plan and how we kind of said we were going to attack their offense. And then, kids played hard. Special teams was huge. We punted a couple times and kicking off, we didn't give them no real good field advantage, and so that was another thing that we really, once we went back and watched the film, we were real happy with our special teams play. Tackled well on kickoff and punt, and so that was another thing you like to see when you start getting into conference play is how well is your kicking game, progressing, and so felt like we took a step forward there. Offensively, we were probably the most balanced we've been all year. I think we rushed for 179 or 178, somewhere right in there, and then threw it for 161. And Reese made some real good decisions. We just wanted to get him a little more comfortable throwing the football, and so that's why we kind of opened that part of the playbook up, but very balanced. You look at our stat line and you see us, I think we rushed the ball 33 times, threw it 25, and yardage wise we were about 15 more rushing yards than we were passing yards, and so pretty balanced. Played a lot of kids on offense as far as at the wideout position, so just getting some playing time for some kids that hadn't played as much, because whether it be being prepared for injury or being prepared for just certain types of game plans, wanting to get kids some reps as early in the season as we could. And so felt good about everything we did. Would like to have been a little bit better in the penalty game. We had 9 penalties for I think 98 yards, and so again that's back-to-back weeks where we were not real good in penalty game, and so had a very good meeting with them on Monday and film session, and kind of got onto them a little bit in that meeting. And we're always going to try to keep getting better no matter what. A lot of people, they can you have a lot of success and you kind of get complacent. And, we don't want to be complacent. We don't want to feel like we arrived. We don't want to be satisfied. And so Monday coming in, we was pretty hard on them, film room and meeting time, and we had a real physical practice on Monday. And so but overall pleased with what we did last week, and it's always good to get a conference win, especially start the conference off with a win, because it's only going to get tougher as far as vying for that conference championship, home field advantage in the playoffs. And so starting off with a win in conference is real big for us.
Yeah. And, Coach, that just says a lot about your offense, as you talked about that balance, because when other teams see this, as we have Hayesville on the road this week, of course, and then, as you mentioned, every week's is a battle, but that just puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team's defense when you can show that balance. And now they're looking at, oh, my goodness, we can't just put eight people in the box anymore. And now we've got to really respect their entire offensive game plan.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I look back and, Keontae Graham had 4 catches for, I think, 80 yards, and one of his was like a 30-something yard pass. And so being able to stretch the field, that's important. Yeah. And, with him and Josiah Gillespie and Corey Stillwell, those guys are deep threat type guys. And, I just imagine – we put those guys out there. If I'm a defensive coordinator, what am I going to do if I've got 3 to 4 guys that they can throw to, and that not just short passing game. Talking about stretching the field, those 2 or 3 guys can run by you and get behind you, and so it makes people have to prepare for just more than a good running attack. And we know we can run the football, and we got a lot of confidence in that, but wanting to develop more confidence in the passing game. And so, and Reese, he can sling it. He's got a real good arm, and he makes pretty good decisions as far as in that passing game. He can see those windows, and just getting him a little more comfortable in doing that. But, and he probably was the most accurate last Friday that he had been all year, as far as, because we counted it up and we really challenged those wide receivers. I think we had 6 drops that hit us in the hands, and so that goes from being, I think we were 44% completion. If we catch those, we're about 68-70%, and that's where you want to be. You want to be above 60% completion rate, and so just getting better at football again. That's what we try to do every week. But the balanced attack, we were real pleased in being able to throw the football a little more than what we had. And coming in, if the game plans to run it 60 times, that's what we'll do. And we felt like we had some things against Andrews that we could do in the passing game, and so we just wanted to exploit that a little bit and just get better at something that we hadn't really done a whole lot prior to that game.
Coach, I know as we get ready for Hayesville, you got to keep these guys fit, and we always like to thank people who have really helped our football team, and I know you've got some folks you want to say thanks to.
Yeah, first off, and we hadn't said this in a couple of weeks, our cafeteria staff here at Swain County High School does a real good job.
Yeah, they do.
And they not only feeding our kids during the school day, but on Mondays they provide a meal after practice for our kids. And, our kids really enjoy that, because normally it's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And teenage boys, they like PB&Js. And so we appreciate our cafeteria staff being able to do that. And then, again, local market BP feeds us spaghetti on Tuesdays, so we always appreciate that. And then today, Pascalino's is going to feed us after practice. So Pasquale does a real good job. I think it's the second time he's done it. So he's always eager to feed the boys, and so we're looking forward to that. And then I want to say Peaks Church is going to feed us pregame tomorrow. Right. And so we just want to thank those people and just appreciate the support that we get. It's we say it every week, but we're in a great place. So we're just thankful for where we're at and the people we have that support these boys.
Hey, Coach, people I think that do that appreciate the thanks that we try to send them, because they deserve it so much, and we can't say enough every week. Even people like old Daniel Kluwer, he brings us up kettle corn up there to the press box, and they sell it here for the West Swain Volunteer Fire Department, and even people that that work here on Friday nights at the games, whether it's at the gate like Sonia Blankenship, or as we called him, old Coach C, Casey Crow, and Coach Blankenship. There's so many people even here at the school that just do a lot of work.
Yeah, it's not. It don't just happen on Friday either. It's a week-long getting prepared process, making sure you have. We normally have 6 to 8 teachers taking up tickets at the gate. And that's huge, because you work all week teaching school, and they volunteer their time, and so the teachers and the staff that do the gate work, and Coach B and Coach C or Casey is but all those people, we got to have that support or it don't get done, and so we're very blessed here to have people that are just willing to sacrifice their time for these kids, and it means a lot to a lot of people, and I think that's why people do what they do here, because they care about it, and a lot of them are Swain graduates, and that's what makes Swain family, you know, a little different. There's a lot of alumni that come back to work here and volunteer here, and so it's a good place, and you can feel the level of care and passion for everything here that people do. And so we just want to thank those people that help out on Fridays.
No doubt. Coach, let's talk about those Hayesville Yellow Jackets. As we say, they're the next game on the schedule. And when you start talking about Hayesville, they had a heartbreaking loss to Murphy last week, 21-14. But they played the Bulldogs really tough. And when you start talking about the Yellow Jackets, you got to start basically with Taylor McClure. He's getting offers at the collegiate level. He's a physical player, 220-pounder. Of course, his dad's the head coach, so he's a football player, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, Coach McClure, he does a real good job with all them kids, but now the way he utilizes his son is really good, because he puts him in a couple different spots offensively.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be at fullback or what we call the A back, or whether it's the wing, and so he does a lot of stuff to kind of get him in different places. You know, we got to be real good. You know, not only keying on him, but when he does have the football, we got to be able to tackle real well, because, you know, you mentioned I think he's 6'1" or 6'2", 220. He's a big old kid.
Yeah.
He runs fast. You know, I seen him in the summer at a camp, ran well. To be that size, I mean, he can really go. So, you know, we're going to have to really do a good job containing him. You know, up front, they got some guys that are not as big as they've normally had, but they're playing extremely hard, and they get on you and they stay on you. So it's one of those things defensively for us. We're going to have to be real disciplined, for one, knowing where the ball is, because they do some things that are misdirection, and they kind of hide the ball with double handoffs or whatever it may be. And so got to be real good at that, but we've got to be real good at getting off blocks, because they do a good job and they play hard. And, you know, they're real physical. And, you know, Coach McClure's done a real good job. You can tell that they've really focused on the weight room in the off season, because I feel like they look a little bigger and a little stronger at certain areas than what they have been in the past. And so it's one of those things where if we are very disciplined on defense and tackle well, you know, that's going to give us a chance to be successful. And, you know, again, Hayesville, it seems like Hayesville Swain's always a hard-fought, tough, hard-nosed game. And so our kids, you know, we've prepared them for, you know, playing over there, being on the road, you know, for that challenge, and then playing a pretty good football team, you know. And so that's the thing that you focus on every week, is not only doing, you know, the fundamentals right, but being able to handle being on the road, you know, in an environment that is not as comfortable, I guess, as saying playing here at Memorial Stadium. And so we've preached that this week, preached a lot on the discipline and the flags and penalties, playing smart, you know, not getting anything, as we call it, extra.
Yeah.
And so that's very important this week. But, you know, they've got 2 or 3 kids that they like to get the ball to. And so, they really, you know, Taylor's a big part of it offensively, but they got 2 or 3 that they can get it to, and they can hurt you. So we just got to be disciplined and play sound football. Yeah.
Coach, last week our crowd over there for homecoming, of course, was just massive. I mean, our whole home side looked like it was full, and I know maybe all those can't go to Hayesville, but a lot of them go over to Hayesville. We're playing on that artificial turf over there, and to have that crowd on the road really goes a long way for our kids, doesn't it?
It does, and you know, we had a good crowd when we went to Smoky Mountain. We had a good crowd when we went to Tuscola. Had a good crowd when we went to Madison, and so I feel like, you know, our people are going to travel well. You know, we encourage everybody to come and support these kids. It's not that far to Hayesville, you know, and it's a pretty drive. So, and there's a couple good places to eat over there, you know, and so. If I were a fan, you know, I would make the trip and support these boys, and you know, we've got a real good fan base. They come, they show up, you know, and we kind of sometimes take it for granted of how well our community supports these kids, you know, because you go to some places and the stands ain't packed, and so you know, we've been fortunate. Had good crowds this year, good support, but big road game, and so we would encourage everybody to come out. Because Hayesville, they've played some good teams. They played Murphy real close, and they're a physical football team. So I expect just another old-fashioned SMC game. Just physical, hard-nosed. Whoever can kind of dominate the line of scrimmage is probably who's going to win.
Yeah. Fans, it's going to be another knockdown, drag-out football game, as we say, as the Yellow Jackets and Maroon Devils will square off. We're coming up with a 7:30 kickoff time, so keep it right here. And join us. We'll be back next Friday as well here on the Maroon Devils Network.